Cricbuzz Comm 15th over of the first of three one-day internationals between India and the West Indies. India asking West Indies to bat first, and certainly it's been the start that India would have wanted. Kept them down in terms of runs and also picked up three significant wickets at the top of the order. 55 for three, Darren Bravo, Brandon King, Shea Hope, all three big innings players, big match players, all capable of getting hundreds in this particular format. And now already into Nicholas Puran and the all-rounders. I'm joined by Dinesh Karthik at 55 for three. DK, certainly India will be the far happier of the sides, but West Indies maybe not showing the kind of intent that we expect from them.
Yeah, I think obviously, T20 ODI cricket requires two different intents, and they're somewhere caught in between that. It's always a bit of a conundrum, and you could see the West Indies players not having the experience playing as much ODI cricket, and the tempo can be a little hard for even players who played a fair amount of games to understand. So I can understand where the issue is, and you can see a couple of the shots that they played, very soft shots, if you may call it that.
Yeah, and also the surface. First let's have a look at the three wickets that have fallen. Siraj was the first one to get rid of Shea Hope, who had just looked good with a couple of drives through the covers, and then dragged that one back onto his stumps. And 2 wickets in the over to Washington Sundar, an inspired selection, not necessarily automatic, because we felt there was a possibility they might go with Kuldeep and Chahal, but obviously that selection well justified.
Definitely, I think he's a solid bowler. Like I said, in the Vijay Hazare, he's bowled well. What's really nice to watch is the speed at which he's bowling. Much slower, allowing the ball to turn. Yes, there is a bit of turn on the wicket, but he's making use of it. That is very important. And you could see he's confident. He knows his skill set. So the ball's coming nicely out of his hand, which is always a good sign.
Now, you talked about making use of it. We've seen a little bit of turn, maybe a bit of indifference in the bounce as well. So your assessment of the pitch, and also for someone like a Yuzvendra Chahal, who's going to follow later, and Sundar himself, you can't afford to get carried away if you see a little bit of help, can you?
No, most definitely not. But I really like Chahal as a bowler. I think he's a solid bowler. He will. I think on this wicket he has at least a couple of wickets in him, if not more, because he's got that variation, and the fact that the wicket is aiding some spin is going to help him even further. And I do think 1 wicket here, I tend to get the feeling that the back end players. They're used to playing T20 cricket, but playing ODI cricket, 30 overs, 32 overs is a different ask altogether. And playing Chahal in that can be very challenging.
But of course, just to stay with the off-spinner for a moment, West Indies have had their problems with off-spin, whether it's the left-handers that they have at the top of the order. And in this case, he also got rid of Brandon King, maybe playing a little too early. But it's not been a good time against spin in general for the West Indies, but off-spin in particular.
Yes, I think they have struggled in the recent past against off-spinners as well. The games that England have won recently, even in T20, Moeen Ali bowled well. Adil Rashid is obviously a wrist spinner, but he's bowled well as well. So they have their issues, and we have to understand, I think West Indies still haven't completely understood the template when it comes to ODI cricket. They've recently lost a series to Ireland. So I think obviously they have a few questions, especially in the batting department, and that's what they'll be looking to address. And come to India, obviously playing spin, and if you're not playing spin, that compounds the pressures that you already have. So it's going to be a very interesting series from the West Indies perspective as well.
But at the very start, even before Sundar came up with those 2 wickets in 1 single over, it was Mohammed Siraj who made the early impression, DK, with his bowling, but also with the new hairstyle. And of course, the Cristiano celebration.
Yeah, he decided to add a little bit of color to his hair, just like his life, very colorful life. The personality that he has, a very, very nice personality, very colorful guy, good guy to be around. And he did bowl well. He could see the ball shaping away for the outswing. And then obviously his go-to ball is the one that he bowls with a bit of a scramble scene, the one that pitches and comes back in. And that's a great ball to have. And he's really mastered that ball really well. So you could see he's picked that wicket. He set him up with a couple of outswingers and bowled this one coming back. And you could see why he's obviously grown in confidence over a period of time and done well in red ball cricket. Because as a skill set, the ability to bowl an outswing and then to get the ball back in is a hard one, and he seems to have it.
And obviously plenty of options for India right now. We mentioned Chahal briefly, could go to Deepak Hooda if they continue to see a bit of turn and any more left still around. So lots of options for Team India. West Indies will have to just change gears some between now and the 35th over? Say, what is the mantra that West Indies need to do? Because for someone like Puran, he'll have to play a different game.
Yeah, I think if West Indies need to do well in this game, they can't lose to afford any more wickets till the 35th over. That's if they want to get a score of excess of 270. If they lose a wicket, then I think obviously that comes down by about 25 runs, 30 runs. So you're looking at 240. But if they lose a couple, then they're really looking down the barrel because in ODI cricket, it's important to have wickets in hand, especially with a flamboyant team like West Indies, which could make full advantage of the last 10 overs for them to get there. Maximum they could lose is 4 wickets when they reach that space around the 40th over. If they lose any more than that, then obviously they're putting themselves under a lot of pressure, and also they're getting the all-rounders to come in, and at that stage it becomes a very different ball game. So I would say the West Indies have their task cut out for the next not only 20 overs, 25 overs if they want to make a match out of this.
Yes, Jason Holder, Karen Pollard, Fabian Allen to come, no Romario Shepherd, no Dean Smith. So West Indies plenty to do. We'll be back in the 35th over to assess West Indies' continued push towards some kind of a decent total. Thank you to Dinesh, Karthik. That's all we have on Cricbuzz Comm.